All right, so before we get into the Diablo 4 news today, some huge personal news. I asked my absolute best friend in the whole wide world if she would marry me, and she said yes. I saw all of your congratulations on this post. Thank you all so much for the love and support, but I had to mention that I am absolutely on cloud nine over here to know that I'm going to be able to spend the rest of my life with my absolute best friend. Is just, it has put me on cloud nine. So yes, I found someone that understands me on a whole other level. But thank you all so much for the love and support. Well, I know why you guys are here. You guys are here for the Diablo 4 news, but I just had to announce that. All right, so let's get into this. So as always, right when I'm about to render a video, Blizzard posts some news, so check it out right here. Adam Fletcher says this, an update on some items. We have some hot fixes and a small client patch that will be hitting this week to address some bug issues. No balance items in these. Now, Friday stream to talk about the upcoming 1.1.1 patch, including Sorcerer Barbarian changes, bug fixes, features, etc. More on that in a moment as well. But yes, expect an actual client patch. This is not just a hot fix coming up this week. So yes, we have this question here. First and foremost, out on Twitter, it says, will the approximate 40% cost reduction only affect skill trees or will include the Paragon board too? And they are referring to, of course, that update 1.1.1 will feature the fact that yes, respec costs will be 40% reduced compared to previously. Does this extend to the Paragon board though? So we have a response from Adam Fletcher who says this right here. He says, good question. I'm fairly sure it's across both, but we'll confirm and we could hit on it next Friday. Remember, we will be seeing that live stream, a new Campfire chat here on Friday. Again, more on that in just a moment, by the way. But yeah, let's keep going because we have more questions and official responses from the dev team. So we have this one from Jay who says, thanks for the communication and upcoming changes. I don't know if this was covered, but why are gems still going into my inventory? That's the question everyone's wondering. Now, Adam Fletcher says this, gems as materials is a fix in Season 2. Due to the adjustments, it requires a significant amount of UI UX work as the flow and how they are presented will be changed. So this sounds like it's actually going to be quite a significant update, by the way. So yeah, I can't wait to see what this UI actually looks like. Kind of curious now. Now also, yes, we are going to be getting patch 1.1.1, and they actually did an update to their blog post to give us an overview what we can expect exactly from patch 1.1.1. So let's get into that right now. So check it out. It says, on patch 1.1.1, so today we release a hotfix that will introduce changes to Nightmare Dungeons. These are changes that map to some of the balance changes made in 1.1.0. That has already happened, of course. Now it says we will be implementing Nightmare Dungeons tuning changes on par with class changes that came with 1.1.0. Now it says Barbarians and Sorcerers with Sorcerer First will be getting adjustments to legendary aspects in 1.1.1. Now monster density will be substantially increased in Nightmare Dungeons as well as in Hell Tides, and they will be adding additional stash tab as well as elixir stack size increases. And it says we will reduce the gold respec cost by 40%. That's actually going to be very significant right there. And it says we want the leveling journey from 50 to 100 to be faster and are looking at increasing XP bonuses for playing on higher world tiers and more. We will go into more detail on these changes during our live stream next week. Now about that, it says on July 28th at 11 a.m. PDT, we will be hosting another Campfire chat to continue the conversation with the community, and they're going to be digging in more about patch 1.1.1. So yes, look out for that. Now I plan to, of course, cover that patch for you all. I mean that live stream, I should say, and reduce that down into like a 10-minute video. So if you do miss it, don't worry, I have you guys covered. Just turn on notifications here on YouTube so you do not miss out on that. Now also, yes, Hotfix 3 is out, of course, and we have some questions about density, mob density. It says density update as well, right? And Freddie P says a couple of weeks. And Nacho Custom says they mentioned it was coming today unless I misunderstood. So many people thought that the mob density changes would have taken place with Hotfix 3, but Adam Fletcher did say this. He said density is going to be in 1.1.1. So just remember that going forward. All right, so we have another question out here on Twitter from D-Money who says, how do you guys shadow nerf density, but it takes you weeks to adjust it Most won't even be playing in weeks. Come on. Adam Fletcher says density leads to back-end load on performance, so the team is making sure that it is done correctly through a client patch. Yeah, they just can't up the amount of characters on screen. That one thing can really end up being harmful to performance, so they don't want to make things worse off, of course, with the patch. That's always not the way to go. Now, next up, we did have a very interesting article about Nightmare Dungeons. That yes, Nightmare Dungeons are getting further enhancements, so we got to talk about that right now. So check it out right here. It goes on to say this one: we're identifying some of these really difficult Nightmare Dungeon fixes, ones that claim a disproportionate amount of player lives. This was said by associate game producer Joe Porpora. Now, he goes on to say the following: there are a lot of moments out there that feel to the player in that moment pretty cheap and unfair, so we're looking at more of these situations and figuring out the right places to make adjustments. Now, the article goes on to say this one right here: these Diablo 4 Nightmare Dungeon fixes can be pretty tough, as they change every enemy in the dungeon under one new modifier, with the Cold Enchanted affix that lets enemies freeze you, proving to be a particularly difficult one for players to get around. And we have another quote from Joseph Apara, who says this: we don't want Diablo 4 to be easy. We don't want you to be able to walk through every encounter. We want the game to feel deadly at times and give you the opportunity to evade those situations. So it seems like they want to give further opportunity as like warning that something is going to be happening near you or to your character. A lot of you guys also mentioned the fact that some of these mobs explode far too often. It seems like they want more of a warning message, or perhaps even present more of a delay before an explosion happens. That's me speculating, but that's what I'm getting from the post. They don't want cheap death. That's the thing in Nightmare Dungeons, and I hope that that is the message to, or the mission statement to, the development team going forward, especially when they introduce new mechanics in further seasons. All right, so yeah, we got to talk about this one right here out on Reddit. It says this: why 666 coins in the Battle Pass was mathematically the scummiest amount Blizzard could have given. Oh boy. This comes from Jesse. He says, so we already know that no item in the shop costs 666, so you can't even buy anything with the coins from the past. But did you know this gets even worse? Please do tell us. Now it says, if you try to use coins to only buy battle passes, look at this math. With the price of 1,000 coins per battle pass, getting 666 coins means that your second battle pass will have 1,332 coins. Great. You can get a pass and have 332 coins left over. However, on the Season 3 pass, getting 666 coins means you will have 998 coins. That's exactly too short of getting another battle pass, and no doubt this is intentional. I would really love if someone from Blizzard actually discussed the battle pass and their predatory mechanics at any of these fireside chats, but they are never mentioned. This is the sort of thing that you would usually see more commonly in free-to-play titles, not in $70 games. Remember, $70, I'm talking about minimum. Most of you probably went for early access, so probably bumped that up to about $90. So yeah, it's pretty shocking to see these kind of tactics, of course. And I am hoping that they have some comments for us about this on the Campfire chat, and they are considering adjusting this in the future. But yeah, definitely good findings by the community. I'm telling you, I remember before this game came out, I was like, the community, I cannot wait for you guys to dive in and to find out more about the Battle Pass. Now, some of you might be like, I don't care about this, but yeah, I know some of you are also curious. Now, we got to talk about a mechanic that is really lagging behind, and that is, of course, the horse. The horse sucks. It says, there is no debate or question. The horse is just bad. There's no redeeming quality about it. This has 3,600 upvotes. It says, why does the speed change based on how far away the cursor is? Why do we have to mouse over our skill bars to reach top speed? Why is there even a slower speed? Why is there a cooldown for mounting? There's literally no reason for this. Why do we have to dismount for almost everything? If there are going to be obstacles, then there shouldn't be a cooldown for mounting. Why even are there obstacles? This is the most pointless thing ever. Adds nothing to the gameplay except for annoyance. Now, why do we get stuck on the smallest pebble? This is the most timid horse known to man. Blizzard knows how to do mounts. WoW has an extremely smooth mount system and can be done, yet it isn't. Sometimes I don't even mount because walking is easier and more relaxing than dealing with all the nonsense that comes with the Diablo 4 quest. So, yeah, this definitely has to be improved. Maybe they need to get the guy that designed the WoW mount over here and do some, you know, mentoring, I guess you would say. That is actually a thing. I remember me and my bro Ryan, we talked about EA. We said Respawn Entertainment, they need to be like mentoring everyone at EA and whatever. And it seems like that's actually happened. So yeah, that's actually a possibility that they do that. So hopefully Blizzard actually considers having some sort of mount mentor come into the office. All right, so let's talk about this one right here. In my humble opinion, the real problem with Diablo 4 is you are constantly out of energy and the basic skills feel useless. And they go on to say, I am curious if others feel the same because I am wondering, why am I getting bored while leveling so quickly? By the way, did you see how much upvotes this has? 7,600 upvotes. Whoa. All right, so it says, I start up the game, motivated to play, and after a single dungeon, I already am bored and quit out. Coming from other ARPGs, Diablo 4 fans are probably tired of the Path of Exile comparison, but what can I do? It's the best ARPG out there. I get hung up for hours doing maps, dungeons, or the seasonal content. My first character, Sorcerer, felt absolutely garbage until I reached a point where I could maintain my mana constantly around level 65-ish. It took me ages due to short sessions, and honestly, that's the way it should be all the time. Now I'm leveling a rogue using Barrage. It's super fun for 2 seconds until I am OOE. The filler in between, the basic skill, feels useless. It does no damage and basically just wastes time until our skills come off cooldown. We recovered enough energy. To my understanding, the basic skill should have a better way to recover energy, but it just doesn't. A build in 25% recovery would help so much, in my opinion. This way, using it would actually make sense. What do you guys think? TLDR, very short burst damage time with basic skill. That feels useless. Waste of time. You know, I feel like in some ways when I look at the skill tree for Diablo 4, and I'm just going to say this in a very speculative way, that they have certain ideas of how to expand this skill tree and they have purposely held them back because they have said that they really want to expand the existing skill trees for all classes. So I think a lot of the abilities you see currently from basic to core are going to expand outwardly, and things like, I hope, for example, things like Rend get better and better, can expand outward and have more of an area effect, and perhaps do, let's say, I don't know, poison damage as opposed to just bleed damage. There's things that they could do in the future here for sure to really expand on the existing skill trees. But it's the basic attacks that we're talking about. They seem rather useless and pointless, and the only real thing that they're used for is getting that resource generation, you know? Now, we got to talk about where Diablo 4 has actually succeeded in Season 1, and that is with, yes, the Necro. Now, I have switched over to the Necro, and let me tell you what, I have been thoroughly enjoying it so far. It's a ton of fun, as you can see my Necro roaming around on the ghostly steed. But yeah, let's talk about it. So we have this post right here. Necro has been a blast in Season 1. For anyone still on the fence about this class, give Necro a try, level 52, and it has been a blast with multiple malignant powers. They are such a great quality of life that allow you to blast through all the content while being almost AFK, running a blight summon build. Not sure how it all scales in the late in game, excuse me, but in terms of quality of life and playstyle, I think Necro probably got the best powers by far and is the most fun I've had. Now, this is a double-edged sword in my opinion. I totally agree. I love Necro. I loved Necro in the beta, but at the same time, because they have focused so much on the Necro, they've given him like the best of the best in my opinion when it comes to malignant powers and the malignant hearts. I feel like they need to elevate the other classes up in some way, shape, or form. And going forward, I'm hoping that all the seasons are able to prop up all the classes, and it's just not like, oh, clearly this class was the focus. You know what I mean? However, with that being said, I love Necro, and I have to say they knocked it out of the ballpark. with Necro in general. I personally have enjoyed the Necro the entire time, from the beta up until now. So yeah, that's just the way I view it. But to hear that others are finally really enjoying this class is just awesome to me. All right, so now it's time to go over your top comments. Remember, leave a comment down below. It could end up right here in a future video. So let's do this. All right, so my most recent video was this one right here. I was not expecting this news today. Dev new updates about the game's biggest features. So yeah, check it out if you missed it, but let's get into your replies. We have this one right here from the HE, I believe it is. One of the biggest issues with the Sorcerer that I have seen is that the itemization and game mechanics force you into playing frost-based builds. I mean, look at the gear we have that would interact with Hydras in 3. It just seems like the devs looked at how people want to play and said, nah, we want you to only play this way. And again, you know, I have theories that this is just because they are like, okay, they're going to play this way now, and then we're going to rotate them over here when we do this update, and then when we adjust these skills. And it's kind of like this, I suppose in their perspective, they're trying to view it as like, oh, how do we refresh old classes, old mechanics consistently throughout the life of Diablo 4? They're thinking in terms of like 5 years and then maybe even 10 years for this game alone. So that can also be detrimental to the game as well if they're thinking like that consistently. But yeah, I get where you're coming from. Now, next up, we have this one right here from Garsnatch, who says this: they need to have diminishing returns on CC for when monsters CC you. For example, if in the last 3 minutes you have been crowd controlled for 5 seconds, the next crowd control makes you frozen or whatever is 3 seconds and then 1 second. It's like that when you CC a monster. Why shouldn't the same happen when monsters crowd control you? Such a great post. Please, I hope Blizzard is seeing your post. Has 94 upvotes, so perhaps they will. But yes, you're 100% right. One of the most annoying mechanics by far in this game is crowd control. We've already talked about cooldown reduction. My personal opinion, let's talk about crowd control. Fix that first. Cooldown reduction next. But crowd control for me, a lot of you guys hit that world tier 4 and you're just like, oh my god, this is so frustrating. And some classes have it worse off than others. Then we have this one right here. We have Kevin Hart 6234, who says, I seriously question their competence as game developers. They have had decades of their own data to analyze. The game has digressed, plummeted from Diablo 2. Basic skills should be in-game viable. Synergies were completely removed, no sets to give bonuses. You're penalized for trying to see how far you can push your build. Bring back rune words, charms, solo companions that you can spec out. Give us options other than spin to win BS. End of rant. Someone is furious, but also 48 others agree that this is definitely a problem. And yeah, let me know what you guys think is currently right now. Is Diablo 2 Resurrected a better game than Diablo 4? I am extremely curious about your opinion. And then also, do you guys think Diablo 4 has a chance against Path of Exile 2? We are going to be seeing ExileCon here on the 29th. So I think things are going to be rather competitive for Diablo 4 going forward. And the devs need to be mindful of that. But thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned for more Diablo 4 news and updates. I have you guys covered as always. And I will see you all next time. Take care.